welcome to Harrison Hacks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Harrison Hacks. Today I want to talk to you about how I would design, or at least the way I would release the PlayStation Classic Edition. I think Sony's lacking in three different areas. Now, as far as the ROM list goes, I did a video on that, on the games that I would add to the ROM list, and you guys, a bunch of you commented on there, and that's great. Everyone has a different choice of selection of games that they would want included on their PlayStation Classic Edition. So this is as far as, I guess, hardware capabilities, and the last one goes a little further than that, but without any further ado, let's get started. So one thing they're definitely lacking, and I know the original PlayStation didn't have these when they were released, but the DualShock controller, or the dual analog controller, whichever you want to call it. The DualShock controller, it's necessary for certain games in the PlayStation library. It's also, I don't know, it's more comfortable to me. I don't know. I mean, I didn't get a PlayStation when it was first released, so I'm not 100% familiar or as comfortable with the standard controllers that come with it. But nonetheless, I think that they're really missing out on not putting the DualShock, because this is going to limit the library that they can add to the system. But if they're smart, and Sony is pretty smart, they could release the DualShocks as an add-on. So this thing's already, and $100 in the US, $130 here in Canada, $90 in the UK, and $100 in Europe. So to me, it's like I feel like we're overpaying for what we're getting. And not brutally. I mean, if you count up 20 games, it doesn't equate to that much per game. US, it's $5 a game. And then you're also getting a console, 2 controllers, an HDMI cable, so on and so forth. And the collection factor of it. I mean, if you're a collector, great. But to me, I feel like, with the announcement, it's not coming with DualShocks. And I'll be the sucker, and I will pay the money to get two DualShocks if they release them separately from the console itself. The next thing for me, I guess, would be include an AC adapter. They don't cost that much. I know we're getting the cable. We are getting the cable, but we're not getting the actual adapter, the wall plug. Everyone's got these laying around from their cell phones, so on and so forth. But to me, I would like to have an official Sony one. Now, with the Famicom, I know, and I believe the Super Famicom, but I know the Famicom for sure, they released it separately from the console, and maybe Sony's going to do that as well. It's just going to be an overpriced little power plug. But again, because I'm a collector and I'd like to have it, I'm probably going to be the guy to go, one of the people, to go and blow my money on this adapter that I don't need because I have so many of them. But even if it doesn't get released as an add-on, I have some extras from NES Classic cell phones, things like that. But I still think for that price point, they should have included this. And that's my opinion. And I think the opinion of many others. Lastly, what they really could have done, and really went above and beyond Nintendo and made some extra money long term, online capabilities. Now, you could have had an Ethernet port fit nicely back there. You could have even covered it up with the access cover on the back of this thing. It doesn't look like it opens, but even if it could open and there was an Ethernet port in there, that would have been pretty awesome. And of course, people would want Wi-Fi built in as well. So, in this day and age, it's the cost of adding those features wouldn't be much. What Sony would be gaining is sales. So, okay, we buy the console, we've got that. Now the online service, and you can play online multiplayer, they should do that, but it's free. But where they make the money for the online service would be through more games. Hey, do you want to add more games? So do you want to buy Final Fantasy 8, and we'll charge you $5 or $7 or whatever they're going to charge for the games. They could, this isn't happening, but I really wish it was. Because to be quite honest, I know the system will get hacked and people will say, well, I could just play hack games and so blah, 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 mod it myself. Yes, but there are people out there who just want to buy the system and legally have games on it, which it comes with, but then you could also go ahead and purchase more. To me, I think this was a huge missed opportunity by both Nintendo and Sony. And I just think that it's something that a lot of people would enjoy to have the online capabilities. So unfortunately, it's not there. The DualShock's not there, and the power supply's not there. Hopefully, at least the DualShock becomes available. The AC adapter I could do without. We can find one anywhere. But the DualShock controller would be a great addition to have for this console. But even if it were to come out after the console's release, I don't see it happening, only because why would they include DualShock needed games in the library if there was no DualShocks that came with the actual console? So I don't foresee it happening, but it is something that I'd like to see in some way, shape, or form. Um, and that's my opinion on the things that Sony missed out on with this PlayStation Classic Edition. I think it's going to be a great console. I do have 2 pre-orders, one to play, one to keep in the box in my closet. Same thing I do with my NES Classic, my SNES Classic, so on, and eventually my N64 Classic, and hopefully a non-at-games Sega Genesis Classic. I think Sega should let Nintendo build it for them, but I've been saying that for a long time. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. Feel free to comment down below with your ideas and your thoughts on this. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, have a good day.